John, you're muted.
John, you're muted. You can make millions of dollars and still try to talk on a muted Zoom.
There you go. And let me, as long as I'm doing this, let me, before I kick this off again, I'm going to go and mute all. Okay. Okay, so once again, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 11 a.m. here in Las Vegas, Pacific Standard Time, and the afternoon for the rest of you folks, or evening and for those people in the UK. Excited to be with you here once again for our fireside chat. Before we jump into topic at hand, just a couple quick announcements. Remember that Monday, I was doing a Zoom, an opportunity Zoom at the same time. And because of the summer months, and because now we're doing a Tuesday evening one, the Mondays are no longer going to take place. So it's going to be Tuesday evening, that opportunity Zoom. So no Zoom on Monday, Tuesday evening. And then of course, we're going to continue our fireside chats here as well. I know people get crazy busy during the summer, and of course, Friday is especially busy, but we're gonna forge through. We may change time possibly Friday, but right now we're just going to maintain our course here. So with that, hope everybody is having a great day, have a great weekend, and you've had a great month as we're closing in on it here. And of course, remember that all of these are streaming on YouTube. And so if you haven't already joined my YouTube channel, went in there and subscribed to my YouTube channel, click that notification button so you're notified every time a new video is posted or happen to go live, such as we're doing right now. And be sure to share it. There's a wealth of information on that YouTube channel. So, take and pay attention to that as well. And we're also now streaming on Fridays. Whenever possible, we're going to stream on Facebook as well. So today, fireside chat, the topic, and once again, I'm hoping for great interaction and input from you guys. But we're going to discuss prospecting and how to continue that conversation, keeping that conversation moving forward. And what I mean by that is this: number one, when it comes to prospecting and building an organization. Okay. A couple things I want to just kind of set the stage with, right? Number one, what do we get paid for? Okay. The only thing that's going to grow my business, your business, any one of our businesses, it is prospecting. And so, number one, you have to maintain a full pipeline, right? I mean, one of the mistakes people make in this business is they zero in on 2 people or 3 people and they just beat them to death all month. And if those people don't sign up, their whole month is shot, right? I mean, what you want to do in the prospecting environment is you want to have so many people in the pipeline, and there's an automatic energy created from that, right? And listen, I'd love for you to join, but if you don't, I understand. It's no problem. I've got so many people waiting for me to talk to. I got to go. And so it creates a sense of urgency by having a full pipeline. Is number one. I mean, very, very important. It creates an automatic sense of urgency, a fear of loss, because you don't have to come across desperate, right? I mean, that's a turnoff in anything in life. When you're desperate about something, people can feel it. My whole month is hinging on you saying yes or not. That's not a good situation. So, fill that pipeline. We can talk about different ways to do that, but maintaining that full pipeline is key. The other thing about this business is, and I probably talk about it every single Zoom that we do, is that, everything we do sets an example what others think they have to do. One of the big mistakes people make is, they get a little team in place, they, get 3 or 4 people sponsored in, and then they quit prospecting themselves because all they want to do is they just want to take now and drive their people. They want to be available for their people. Well, and I can understand, the logic behind that, but let me explain the reality behind that. People do what you do. Okay, then everybody in your team goes into that same mode looking for someone to go prospect and bring someone in. The best way to motivate your people is you need to be doing what you want them to do. And what you want them to do to grow their business for the benefit of themselves and to grow your business or anyone's business, it is prospecting, keeping that pipeline full. So, one question you may want to ask yourself right now is, how full is your pipeline? Right? I mean, how full is your pipeline? And if the answer is it ain't real full, right? You need to do something about that, right? I mean, you look at what the times we're in with inflation the way it is. I mean, the people need what we have. They need our products. They need our opportunity. They need hope. They need someone just reaching out. And so, put that down as one of your notes as you leave this. I mean, here we are, we're coming into a brand new month of May, and make the commitment, I'm going to fill my pipeline. Right now, my pipeline isn't where it needs to be, but by the middle of May, my pipeline is going to be full, and I'm going to maintain, that thing full. Just keep putting them in. Don't make the mistake of getting a few people started, getting a few people excited, and dropping the ball, because then you're going to have to go back and push the ball back up the hill again. So keep that pipeline massively full. And I can promise you it's going to make a major difference in your mindset. It's going to make a difference in the sense of urgency, the fear of loss, the way you come across the prospects. If you have a full pipeline, right? Your whole month is not dependent on that one or two people doing this or saying yes. So very important key. Again, to reiterate, it's going to set the example for the rest of your team that you're not waiting around for them to do something. You're not waiting around for them to build your business. You're continuing to move forward. Because one of the mistakes that people make, in our business is they spend time with the wrong people, right? They get a few people signed up and they're just going to go drive them, right? What if those people don't take action? You lose all your momentum, right? Plus, coming back to that set an example thing, right? So how do you know? How do you know when you have the right person? And again, the right people, stand out, right? So how do you know? And I make the fishing analogy, right? You're out fishing and you get a little bite and you're like, get excited. I got a little bite. And you set the hook and you start reeling them in and you're wondering to yourself, I wonder if I got a big fish here. If you have to ask, you don't, right? Because big fish, you automatically know. Why? Because they're fighting back. The line, the rod is pinned to the rail and they're taking out line, right? If you're sitting there reeling it in and you don't even know, I wonder if it's still even on the hook. You don't have a fish. Now, how do we bring that back to relating to our business is, how do you know when you've got somebody who really is going to do this? Because they're following through with the assignments. They're getting their list put together. They're attending the conference calls. They're prospecting. They're calling you to do three-way phone calls. You're not calling them, hey, are you going to be on the Zoom today? You're going to be on the conference call. Do you have anybody for me to talk to? They're constantly making excuses. They're not showing up, and ultimately they're not doing the business. I mean, I get a kick out of it, sometimes because I don't push people. Okay. I meet energy with energy. I don't beg people to do this business. I don't try to talk people into doing this business. I work with people that want to do this business and that they are showing the appropriate action. Right. Not that I forget about anybody. Don't misunderstand me. Everybody matters. And our goal is always to keep them in one more day, because you keep them in one more day, you may keep them a lifetime. So I touch base with them, hey, anybody for me to talk to? So I still do that stuff. But where am I spending my time, right? That little bit of encouragement, are you going to be on the Zoom? I still do all that stuff. But where do I spend my time? I spend the time with the people that are calling me, the people that are driving me nuts, oh my God, they got another three-way for me to do. They want this, they want that. They're driving me nuts. Again, that they're doing the business. The rod's pinned to the rail, they're taking out line. That's where you spend your time. It doesn't take much time to spend a little encouragement. What you don't want to do in this encouragement is get on the phone with them for 45 minutes or an hour and waste an hour and a half talking about nothing, right? I mean, in the sense of business, you want to be creating a sense of urgency and fear of loss. I mean, I don't have long conversations with people, right? Unless there's something really serious that's going on, I'm on and I'm off, right? I got things happening. I'm not going to sit around and BS for 2 hours about nothing, right? I mean, we're going to either do something or I got other stuff to do, right? We're going to talk about something important or I've got other people to talk to, right? So really evaluate who you're spending your time with, how you're spending your time. That's another whole topic, but I'm touching on it a little bit. But again, I was going into this where, somebody will call me and say, John, listen, I'm done. I'm not going to do this business anymore. And, I joke about this, but I say, wow, thank you for letting me know. Because if you wouldn't have let me know, I wouldn't have known because I thought you were gone already. Right. I mean, I just get a kick out of that because people say, hey, listen, I'm quitting. Oh, wow. Thank you for letting me know. I wouldn't have known otherwise because I thought you already had quit. Right. So and I'm telling you, when you're trying to force people to do this business is frustrating. This business is not fun. When you're taking and trying to keep up with this business, or you're trying to keep up with somebody, you're working with somebody that's actually doing it, that's when this business is fun. And if you don't have that person yet, then that's where you need to be spending your time, is looking for that person. Instead of trying to make people do this business, instead of trying to talk people into doing this business, find somebody that wants to do this business. And if you don't, and again, they leave clues because they're calling you, they're doing it, right? And if you don't have that person in your business, then that's where you need to be spending your time, is looking for that person. Does that make sense? Okay. So what we're talking about here today as our main topic is, continuing that conversation, right? And so many, when you're doing this business and you're prospecting people, people don't know what this is all about. They don't know if they're even looking for something or not. They might think that, I need something, but they don't understand what it is that we're doing. And so we can take, and somebody may say, I'm not interested. And you just say, okay, thank you. Okay, it's over. That's not over, right? They don't understand yet. So again, coming back to the sense of urgency, coming back to the fear of loss, I'll accept the no if I believe you know what you're saying no to, right? So I'll accept the no if I believe you understand what you're saying no to. But if you're saying no just because you don't understand, or don't think it's interesting, or don't think it's real, or don't think it's possible, then it's my job to continue that conversation. And the one thing you don't want to do is get into an argument, because arguments, everybody's defenses get up and nobody's listening to anybody. Is asking to keep the conversation going. The key to keeping the conversation going is asking people questions. Right? Asking people questions is what keeps the conversation going. You preaching at them doesn't keep the conversation going. Conversation is back and forth. It's engaging the other person in conversation, right? And the way you engage somebody in conversation is you ask questions, right? So somebody says, I'm not interested. Okay. One question you might ask is, what are you not interested in? And they might say, well, what do you mean? Well, what are you not interested in? Are you not interested in making extra money? Are you not interested in helping people? Are you not interested in having your own business? Are you not interested in improving your overall health and well-being? What is it that you're not interested in? Right? So you can kind of see how that's going to, asking people questions that make them think about what it is that they're saying no to. And you'll find out they don't really even know. Right? One of the things that I do almost all the time, and I'm, you guys have heard me do this, but I'm going to do it again, is one of my responses that I, talk to people all the time about, whatever the pushback is. I'm not interested, don't have the time, don't have the money, can't sell, I'm an introvert, whatever it is. I don't care what the question is. One of my first responses is I know how you feel, right? The feel, felt, found. I know how you feel. Okay. I felt the same way. Let me tell you what I found out. So somebody says, I can't sell. I don't have time. I don't believe in this type of business. I come back to further that conversation, keep their defenses down, is you can say, I know how you feel. I felt the same way. Let me tell you what I found out. So somebody says, I don't have the time. I know how you feel. So what you're doing when you say that is you're agreeing with them. When you, and that breaks down all defenses. When you say, I know how you feel, you're agreeing. So it eliminates any conflict. Okay. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. Now you're empathizing with them, that you and I are alike. And now it kind of, whether they realize it or not, they're saying, okay, you know how I feel. You felt the same way. So you're empathizing with them. And they're, without even knowing, they're thinking, well, you're doing it. Why are you doing it? Right? If you know how I feel and you felt the same way, but yet you're doing it, I mean, that's whether they realize it or not, that's going on in their head, right? That you and I are alike, but yet you're doing it. I'm saying no. Let me tell you what I found out. What I found out was that working a job, exchanging my time for a paycheck was never going to get me to where I was going to go. I wasn't getting paid what I'm worth. I wasn't being appreciated at work, and I needed to do something different. And I could do this without a lot of time. I could learn as I earn. There's a whole team of people willing to help me. I could see that, everybody needed these types of products, whatever it is, you're gauging that based on your relationship, based on your personality, based on what you know about them. You're helping them look at this another way, right? I mean, when we talked earlier, you said that you really are not feeling appreciated at work, that you're not making enough money, that you hate your boss. There's got to be more to life. You never thought you'd be at this point in your life and making, being in this job or career, whatever it is. So you're making them think. And you can continue this engagement, this process forward. But I'm telling you guys, the feel, felt, found is a magical set of words that will move the conversation forward. And then you can dive deeper into it, right? Let's look at somebody saying, I'm not interested. And you say, well, let me ask you a question. How much money would you have to make in this to be interested? And then just be quiet and let them answer. And, they might say some crazy number, but they might say, and likely is they'll say a realistic number. Well, I mean, hey, if I could make $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, I'd be interested. So if I can show you how to do that, then you are actually interested, because I can't actually show you how to do that. We have people doing it all over the place, part-time, without giving the security up their full-time job. So, but again, the key to this is the interaction, getting them to give you the number, right? So if I can show you how to make $2,000 a month part-time without giving up the security of your full-time job, kind of learn as you earn and have the potential of maybe going at much beyond, to $5,000 or $10,000 a month, then you do have an interest, right? Okay, that's great. Now I can see that if you, coming back to the feel, felt, found, I can see if you didn't think that you could even make that kind of money, I understand why you wouldn't be interested. I mean, I'd have felt the same way. I'm not interested in wasting my time, not interested in wasting your time. Another great comeback line when somebody says they're not interested is say, listen, you are way too sharp, and this is going to be way too big for you not to take the time to understand what's going on here. Think about that line. And maybe even with that hesitation, that pause, somebody tells you, I don't believe in it. I don't understand it. Not interested. Can't sell. I don't care what it is. I mean, this is another showstopper. It's going to get them to say, okay, you're right. I don't really understand it. I need to take a look. You're way too sharp. This is going to be way too big for you not to take the time to understand what's going on here. Okay. And after that, if you still want to say no, I totally, get that. Right. But I mean, this is way too big. You're way too sharp for you not to understand what's happening here. Right. So, I mean, other great questions, just between you and I mean, how are things really going? Right. How are things really going? When you say that just between you and I, it brings this conversation to some level of realness and of personal, that people just seem to open up to you, right? I mean, when you say that, hey, listen, just between you and I mean, how are things really going? And you'll find people will literally pour their guts out to you. To be honest with you, I mean, I am so stressed out. I am so unhappy. I mean, I hate my boss. I hate what I do. I mean, I'm just every Monday morning, my stomach just turns thinking I have to go back to work, right? I mean, find out the pain, find out what's going on. And this is where the magic in asking the right questions, the magic in those questions is trying to find out what's really going on in someone's life. Because if there's not some pain, I mean, when you talk to somebody and everything in their life is just unbelievable. I'm making so much money. I am so happy. I am having so much fun. My life is fantastic. I mean, that's somebody that you probably is not a great prospect, right? I mean, we don't have anything to help them. We have to solve a problem. We have to identify some pain points, some things in their life that participation in what it is we're doing can enhance, improve, or help. Okay. So, so the field found is a great way to move the conversation forward. Asking people, just between you and I, how are things really going? Have you ever thought about a plan B? I mean, if you, how much money would you need to make to actually get excited about this and listen and find the numbers? Because part of asking these questions is going through that painful, feels like eternity, but it's really only seconds, waiting for a response. And and having the patience and the discipline to maintain that silence until they give you a response, because they're thinking, whether you think, even though it might be uncomfortable, that pause, that silence can be, feel like an eternity. They're thinking. Give people, if you're talking all the time, you're not learning about that. You're not actually communicating with them. Communication is back and forth, right? It's asking questions, listening, and really listening, not trying to think about what you're going to say next, but think about what they're actually saying that can help you understand what to say next. I mean, the art of communication is going both ways. It's listening really to what it is they're saying, instead of trying to I know exactly what, no, hey, listen, stop there. I know exactly what you're talking about. You don't, because you didn't let them finish, right? Don't sit there and part of that is people just wanting to feel like they're right or know everything. Just let them finish. I want to really understand what you're saying here, right? Let them finish instead of, listen, hey, stop right there. I totally get it. I understand it. This is now you're back in the preaching mode. Nobody likes that preaching or likes to be told what to do. Nobody likes to be told what to do. What they want to do is they want to be understood. They want to be listened to. They want you to, to connect with them, right? And the way you connect with people is by listening to them, asking them questions, really engaging with what's going on in their life, and see if we can find out a way that this can help them, the way this business can help them. So with that kind of as an opening, comment here, let's take and see if we get some participation, some communication, some engagement with some of you guys. Let's talk about this. Anybody want to jump in and give us their thoughts, their opinions, what they've done wrong, what they're doing right? I mean, one of the things we talk about all the time too is this personal checkup. I mean, asking yourself, how am I doing? How am I doing? How am I doing with my prospects? How am I doing with my pipeline? How am I doing with setting the example? How am I doing with my communication? Okay. When somebody tells me no, am I arguing with them or am I listening to them? Am I trying to, if I just accept the no, thank you, or do you probe a little bit, try to ask some questions, the field found to get the conversation moving a bit further? Because if you don't, I mean, again, prospecting is it's where it all starts. You have to prospect if you're going to grow a business. You have to recruit. You have to get out there and talk to people if you want to make this work. It's not enough just to be involved. Listen to all the calls beyond. If you're not out, prospecting, not much is going to happen. So with that, who wants to jump in here and share their thoughts or opinions or ideas? If maybe I said something that might have stimulated a thought in that everybody else could benefit from.
Hey, John, it's Karen Ford. I'm in the school line. Here to pick up my grandbaby.
Oh, but fantastic.
I wanted to say this really quick before I go back on mute. One of the things that I know ever since I've been in this industry Often people will say, well, I don't even have a check, but yet they only had 2 people in their business. So when you only have 2 people and one of them leaves, of course, you've lost half of your income. Another thing is you have to visualize when you have, say, you just have a PVC pipe and you're putting dirt in it. Until you have that completely filled up and the pressure is there, it has no place to go but start dropping out the other end. That's exactly what happens in our business. If you're bringing 1 or 2 people to the table, your chances are pretty slim for having true success. It's about consistently recruiting every single opportunity you get. And that's not once a year, but always bringing new people to the table. And I say this all the time, look at the leaderboard. Who's showing up on the leaderboard? Those people are putting people in their pipeline, and you do the proper follow-up. You teach and train and guide and coach. Guys, those people are the people that are making it happen. So if you're not enrolling new people, whether it's a customer, because you know what? The very best distributors are very happy customers. Start with the customer if you need to. We have an incredible customer program now. So start with customers, coach, teach, train, do what you're supposed to do as a leader. Give them a reason to want to follow you. And then things will become bigger than you can even handle. Just like John said, oh my God, another 3-way. Are you kidding me? That's how we should all be feeling every day. Oh my God, I can't do another call. Oh my gosh. That's what you guys need to be thinking about. Load up the pipeline, go get new people, do the proper follow-up, and then the results will happen. So that's it. I'm going to go get my grandbaby.
Wow, that's fantastic, Karen. Thank you so much for that wisdom and those tips. I mean, several things I just want to reiterate. One is what Karen said. I mean, if you only have 2 people in your business and one of them quit, you've lost 50% of your business. I mean, but so you need to constantly, keep that pipeline full, keep that thing moving forward. And when one quits, it doesn't matter, right? If one or two quits, it doesn't matter because there's such of a small percentage of your overall business, right? One of the other things that she's talking about here, again, is setting that example. Never stop recruiting. If you stop, they stop. You have to constantly get out there and do that recruiting. And one of the things too, guys, is you can constantly, Karen just said we got this unbelievable customer program. Well, every time we got this new soul side coffee, we got the new VIP coffee, we got new software coming. Every time something new happens, you've got this list. Just because they said no doesn't mean no forever. It just means no right now. I mean, you can always go back. You can always go back, and even to her point where she said, I'm not making any money yet. How can I prospect people because I'm not making any money? Right? You could be in this business 6 months. You could be in this business a year, 2 years, not making any money. And so how do you take and listen? I've been doing this. I've been involved. I don't want to say doing it. I've been involved in this for 8 months. And, because they say, well, what are you earning? I've been involved in this for 8 months and I didn't do anything right. I didn't know what I was doing. But let me tell you, I understand it now. Okay. I know what I need to do. And that's why I'm talking to you. So, hey, I have not made much money in the last 8 months, but talk to me in a few months from now. And then I'll show you the proof because I got it. I understand it. But again, coming across to that. So if you're in that situation where you're feeling embarrassed or feeling not confident in talking to somebody because you don't think you're making the money. It's not what you make. It's look around at that's why the conference calls, that's why the Zooms are also important. It's not what's going on with you. It's what's going on with everyone. Okay. There's going to be somebody that's what these calls are about. Hearing the testimonials, hearing someone else that they can identify with that can, whether it's the presenter, whether it's a testimony or whatever, there's other people that are making money. But again, you can quickly dismiss this uncomfortable feeling of, hey, my check's not where I want it to be. My check is down. I haven't made any money yet, by simply saying I've been, involved for 6 months. I've been involved for 2 years, whatever it is. This happened, that happened. But that's just me. Let me tell you what's happening with other people. Right. I made a lot of mistakes. I bucked the system. I didn't do it right, whatever. You can discount and dismiss all of that with just some of those types of lines. Again, that's all part of, keeping the conversation moving forward. So again, thanks so much for that, Karen. Anyone else want to jump in here and give us some input, some advice?
Yeah, John, one of the favorite things I ever heard was, if somebody asks you how much money you've made, just say, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Well, I'm still getting paid for the work I've done. And I'm not done getting paid for it. I'll get paid next month for the work I did last month still.
That's really good.
Whether or not you actually collected a check, but you've been farming, you've been working with people. And so, yeah,
that's really great. Let's expand on that. I mean, how much you're making. I mean, it's kind of hard to really know because, I worked this really hard, like for 30 days, and then I had some life and some things happening, and I really haven't done much in the last 4 months, but I'm still getting paid, right, for what I did that first month. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to really answer the question because I'm getting paid for what I did 4 months ago. And I haven't really done much in the last 4 months. I mean, that's great. I mean, so that's really, and that's our business, right? So that's fantastic. Thank you for that. Who else wants to jump in?
Hey, John.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, so just to kind of touch base on kind of piggyback off what Michael said there. Great. That's one of the things that my mentor taught me early on. Not done making it. Not too sure yet. But I got those questions a lot, John, when I was brand new. And I think this a lot for everybody. When you're brand new, your confidence is typically low, and your ability to communicate may not be as good as somebody who's been in long, like yourself. And you got to borrow the confidence. When you have confidence, John, people sense that. Those questions start to fade away. I don't really get asked. I don't get the pyramid question very rarely. If I get it, it's almost like, oh my God, that's the first time I've gotten that in years. I don't have that conversation. I don't get much money conversations. It starts with the confidence, but the confidence I think comes from John's practice. And the more you do something, and I just reiterating on this, the more you do something, the more it's going to be, ingrained into you. You're going to be confident. So for me, when I was involved in the industry going on, 10 years now, back 10 years ago, we would partner up with somebody, and I would grab just a business partner, and I would make phone calls or practice the scripts. And then we would do that on each other. That way, when we were making the phone calls, we had the confidence and we were already actively practicing. So the words just came out better, and it became easier and easier and easier. The more calls we did, it's just about being confident, practicing, and doing it consistently. So finding a DMO or whatever is going to keep you on track with doing something consistently, that's really going to help you with all of this. It's really not as hard as we all can sometimes make it be. It's very simple, but it's just about taking the action, John. But we appreciate all your training and everything here every week, John. But that's my 2 cents there.
No, that's so, I mean, you're 100%. I mean, you're dead on, Greg. And, as you're talking about it, I mean, one of the things that popped into mind, I constantly am saying people by people, right? That's speaking to that conference, right? It's your passion, posture, belief, enthusiasm about what it is you're doing. It's not what you say, it's how you feel about what you say. You don't have to say it all perfect, but again, how do you get yourself to that point, right? And I did the exact same thing that you just talked about, right? I didn't have the confidence. I didn't have the self-esteem. I didn't have the belief even, right? I didn't have the words. So what I did before I would prospect, and this is what, I mean, because if you're prospecting, you're talking to people and your head isn't in the right spot, if you're not coming across with that enthusiasm, with that confidence, with that conviction, right? I mean, the likelihood is they're going to sense it, they're going to feel it, and that's probably why they're not interested, right? So what do you need to do? That's why you need to be on the calls. That's why you need to be on the Zooms. I always say there's 2 reasons to be on a call or a Zoom. One is if you have a guest, the other is if you don't, right? If you don't, you better be on there to figure out why you don't, right? But I used to, And I still do this today. If I mean, go and listen, to one of these past, something that really fired you up. Think about, a message, a Zoom, personal, whatever it is, something that really fired you up, right? And go back and before you're doing if you're feeling a little bit down, or you're not feeling confident, go back and listen to that, watch that, review that before you go pick that phone up. Get yourself in that with that killer instinct, with that excitement, with that confidence, beaming out of you. So when you have that call, they can feel it and sense it. That's what I did. I mean, when I got started in this video or this business, it was audio cassettes. And I mean, I would do that before I did my calls, before I went out and prospected. I would take and get myself fired up, right? Success leaves clues. Greg's just telling you he does the exact same thing. He's listening to, he's watching, he's reviewing, he's getting himself fired up. So when he's making those calls, people can sense and feel his excitement, because it's going to make a difference in the way the person perceives you, in the way that you communicate with them. So thank you for that, Greg. That's great. Anyone else?
Hey, John.
Yes.
Can you hear? Oh, this is Karen. I'm driving, so I'm not really driving. I'm in the neighborhood. But anyway, one of the things I want to say is I've been in it for almost a year, but I'm not the same person I was at the beginning that I am now, because I was so afraid. I would stare at my computer for the longest time before I would even contact anyone. And now I'm like, well, if they agree or if they want it, they'll accept it. If not, they're not. But one of the things I've worked on is different scripts and different things to send them, as far as, because some people will say, hey, are you hiding things because you don't seem to be telling me everything? And then some people say you might be telling them too much. So I've had to work on my script. And now when I get on to call, because I do a lot of cold calls, I really want to be good at that. And so now when I get on and I talk to people, I'm not as afraid, because I'll listen to the things that you guys say, other people say. I'll take a little bit of this and a little bit of that and make it my own. And then I will speak to the person about that. And then if it's not right, I'll twitch it a little bit or tweak it a little bit, and then try it again with the next group of people just to see what happens. So it varies that way. Sometimes I'll get a lot of people hitting and I'll see my statistics, and sometimes I'll just get very little. And then that's when I think, hey, what do I need to do to change? So I appreciate what you said about that, and about planting the seed and all that kind of stuff. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Karen, for that, because a couple of things popped into mind as you're talking. The first one, wow, you said, I'm not the same person. I'm not the same person as I was when I signed up. I mean, folks, that's what we're doing here. We're building people, right? I mean, every part of your life, if you really are honest with yourself, whether you've made a penny or not, whether you're ready to have that breakthrough now, or maybe 2 months from now, or a year from now, if you stay connected, you stay involved, we're building you. We're building you for that breakout moment that all of a sudden it all falls into place and it all clicks. You need to have that faith, and you have that commitment and that consistency to know that's going to happen if you stay focused and committed. Because this business changes us, changes the way we see the world, changes us the way we see our life, our business, and what's possible, changes what we believe is possible, right? Of what we believe we can really accomplish, because we build people. The other thing that you said that I want to just bring back to another important point is saying too much, right? We tend to, you have to discipline yourself to not, and this is where concentrate on listening to people and not doing all the talking. If you're doing all the talking, if the way you keep somebody engaged is by communicating with them, not talking to them, by communicating with them. Communication means back and forth. You're asking them questions, really try. And I can tell you guys, is one of the biggest mistakes people make is all they do is talk, and they talk way. You have to make sure your person is engaged with you and going back and forth. But talking too much is one of the biggest mistakes people make. So anyway, we're at 40 minutes here. We'll take one more person if somebody wants to jump in. Otherwise, we'll close out for today. Okay. Well, listen, thank you all for your participation and your input. It was all fantastic. Every time somebody speaks, things pop into my head and it expands into another area. We'll be back here next Friday for another great fireside chat, and we'll join you then. Remember, share this with others. It's on YouTube. We have it also. The fireside chats are on Facebook as well. Thank you all for tuning in on YouTube, on Facebook. On my screen here is Kimberly and Catherine and Shanine. Thank you guys for your great comments on Facebook. I forget Stacy. Anyway, appreciate y'all, and we'll talk to y'all again soon. Bye now.